Welcome to my top Rumble guide for Season 13. Haven't seen anyone play Rumble in the top lane in the NA server, so I thought it would be cool to make a guide on Rumble top. So first thing is items and runes. There's two choices that you can now make. You can either go Comet, Nimbus Cloak, and this Transcendence, Celerity, Absolute Focus. These are all just preferences. I believe runes are preferences, so just take whatever you want to. Usually I take Celerity or Absolute Focus. I haven't been taking Transcendence, but I also think Transcendence is not that bad either. So honestly, this is just preference. And you can take Scorch, and then 2 Adaptive Force. Depending on the matchup, you go Magic Resist or Armor. And this is also preference. I've seen people who go Domination and take Piece of Blood into Ultimate Hunter. I think usually this is more for mid lane Rumble, but I think for Resolve, for Rumble top, you go Resolve Tree into Bone Plating and Overgrowth, or you can take Second Wind. Second Wind is not that bad against range champs. Well, yeah, range champs, so like Cassiopeia and Quinn, Timo. Second Wind is really not that bad. I think in patch 13.12, 13.13, I don't know, but 13.12, yeah. And it was a lot of like health changes, so that it Rumble's more viable in the top lane. Now you're able to take this tree, which is the Conquer, Triumph, into Tenacity and Last Stand, and you can just take Bone Plating and Overgrowth or Second Wind. So the reason why you take Overgrowth instead of Unflinching, or you can take both, or either. That's honestly preference, but Overgrowth works pretty well with your W now, because your W is based off of max HP, so this increases your max HP, so it has to be good, right? And yeah, the same thing for this. Another tree that you can take on sorcery is Phase Rush. So Phase Rush is good against champs like Jace, Olaf, Darius, where Darius and Olaf, they just runs at you, and you can't do anything as Rumble if you don't have Phase Rush. So you take Phase Rush into Nimbus Cloak and then Celerity, so that Celerity and Phase Rush, they work really well together with Scorch, and you usually just go Bone Plating, and this should be good. So the way you proc Phase Rush is you do E, Q, E, or you can just auto E, just Q. Just try to proc Phase Rush with anything, especially with Ignite as well. For Rumble in the top lane, you want to start Doran's Ring against a lot of melee champs, but you're also allowed to take Doran's Shield if you think you'll be harassed. For example, against champs like Timo, Cassiopeia, Quinn, maybe Doran's Shield might be a smarter idea to go with than taking Doran's Ring, because you'll be harassed and you won't be able to touch Cassiopeia or Timo or Quinn. So this is basically depends on the matchup. Ranged, you usually want to take Doran's Shield, but if it's against if they're not that good, usually I just take Doran's Ring, because Doran's Ring provides so much more damage. Typically, a lot of these range champs are very squishy, so even if they take 1 tick, 2 tick of the Flame Spitter damage, their health instantly goes down. So usually you just take Doran's Ring, and maybe after your first back for items, what I usually go is Sorks into Demonic Embrace, because you want to utilize your W maximum health as much as possible now as a top laner. So I usually just go Demonic Embrace into Night Harvester, and then after that you can either go Zanya's or Void Staff or Morelos, but I go Void Staff because it's 200 gold cheaper than Morello and Zanya's, but deals a lot of damage as well. So this is not a bad buy. then you can go. I usually don't like Zhonya's because usually after you Zhonya's, you die anyways. So I'm more playing with maybe Morello to get more health, so your W is bigger. In the top lane, there are champions like Riven, Darius, Jax, Irelia, where they just stand here or here, and I cannot walk up because level 1 Rumble is very weak. So you usually get denied the 3 melee minions if they're good. But one way you can prevent this is from as soon as the game starts, you just run here and you place down a ward here and you sit in this bush. And I'm sorry to the junglers, but you cannot leash them because when you leash, you basically lose prio, because if they're here first and auto the wave first, then you just lose prio against these champs. So champs like Riven, Irelia, Darius, they just sit in this bush, and you want to see with this ward whether if they come over here or if they come over like this to prevent you the 3 XP. And you wasting a ward here is completely fine because you won't be able to ward anyways, because you won't have prio in the Riven and Darius and Irelia lane anyways. So using this ward helps you get the 3 melee minion XP in the early game. Let's say you're against tank. What you want to do is, if you have to leash, you're able to, because you will have prio in a lot of the tank matchups. For example, Sion, Malphite, Ornn, those are the top 3 tanks that I know. Usually they don't have a lot of wave clear level 1, but if you just, let's say you come to lane late, you can just auto and then Q the wave, so automatically you'll push the wave and you'll gain prio. After you push in the wave, you want to move to the jungle, and number 1, find their jungler, or 2, ward the enemy jungle, or 3, help your jungler. So if your jungler is getting invaded and you're level 3 because you're pushed in the wave and you're able to move first, then you're able to do that. This is the power of lane prio in the top lane. In the top lane, you're able to just get a lot of vision and a lot of benefits from pushing the wave. There's another example in top lane where, let's say you solo killed their top laner and you have to go back home. You have to recall to buy your items and get your health back. But in a lane like this, you can't outpush this entire wave, because if you push this wave, then that means you also have to, well, not, let's say like right about now, you have to push this wave. Then if you push this wave, you also have to push this wave as well. So you won't be able to push these 2 waves in time. So what you want to do is just recall right away. If you recall right away, what happens is these minions will kill the enemy or your minions, so your enemy top laner will lose XP. Meanwhile, when you're in a hurry, usually I just go boots, but if I have 1100 gold, then you go sorks as well, so you go faster with your W, and you'll probably make it in time. This is very, very basic lane management as a top laner. And let's say you push this wave. After you're done pushing this, you have another option. You can either go to the enemy jungle. And place down a ward, or you can look for a solo kill right here. Usually they don't ward this bush. If they ward this bush, then it's already a good thing, because they won't be able to ward here or here. And what this means is that your jungler can invade the enemy jungler, and with the enemy jungler, then you can look for a maybe dive if you harass the enemy top laner well with your E, and you have a lot of options. After you hit level 6, what you want to do, or you're able to, let's say you have lane prio again, then you push and you just want to walk down, and you just want to see your mid lane. Is the enemy mid laner low in HP, or is it low in mana? And if so, what can you do to make their life harder? For example, if they're looking for a recall timer, right? They want to push this, but they don't have any wards, right? Then it's perfect for you to capitalize on that. And if you have your ult, then you can just look for a kill, or that's already a flash. As soon as they flash, that's already a good thing, because your ult is 130 seconds while the enemy's flash is 300 seconds. And two, you're impacting the map more than your top laner. Meanwhile, your top laner is just farming under turret. You're able to make plays around the map. You can also, after pushing the wave, you can also, if there's a fight going on here, but let's say the wave is here, then you're able to just walk down and join a 4v5. Then the enemy top laner is forced to push this wave and the incoming wave, right? And by that time, if it's a 4v5, usually the team with the 5 wins, so you always are on top of the numbers game. One thing in the top lane that I do is, let's say you push this wave, but you make a mistake, right? And the wave is here. You don't have any wards and you don't have flash. The enemy top laner is in Irelia, where she can just Q onto the minions and kill you. Getting that XP is not really worth it, so what you can do is either recall and go here and roam, because you cannot stay here ever, right? So what you can do is maybe force a dragon or go to the enemy jungler and invade while Irelia just stays here. Now Irelia has to make a decision whether to keep freezing or to push. If she pushes, then all you have to do is just go back and collect the wave. Then you're able to farm. 2, if she keeps freezing, then it's okay, because you can just keep invading the enemy jungler. So if this situation ever happens, this is an option that you can also do. You can either gank mid or gank bot, attack an objective, help your jungler. But never stay in lane and just do nothing. That is the worst thing you can do, because you staying in lane won't change the flow of the game. So what you want to do is always try to impact the map. In the mid game, what you want to do is just push wave and leave the lane, because Rumble's not a good 1v1. He's a really good team fighter because of his ult and his Q range and his E. And during team fights, what you're supposed to do is ult and then use harpoons to kite, and then if they're low, Q and then E, or use W as well to finish them off. So the new combo for 150 heat is Rumble after the changes for the combo is QWE or EQW, it doesn't matter. What matters is at 90, you use 3 abilities to overheat. But the worst thing you can do is use all your abilities. Let's say you're at 60 and use your QWE and E and end at 40. That's the worst thing you can do, because right now I have the CD on, but let's say I didn't and I have 60 heat. What happens is I use all my abilities and I don't overheat, but I'm engaged. That means I can't go out or I have to use flash. So you have to be very careful of your heat management. Another thing with Rumble is you can E flash. You can also ult flash. Also, another thing in the top lane is, I'm pretty sure a lot of people already know this, but in order to get platings faster, you can just use your abilities to proc your passive, so you auto faster. But one downside is that now the enemy knows that you don't have abilities, so if you don't have any vision here, this is quite a dangerous play. And I recommend you to not do this, unless you know where the jungler is, of course. And since you already killed the top laner, right? He's dead, so you don't have to worry about that. Thank you for watching. I'll be streaming in the link down below, and have a great day.